Right now, your modern body is hiding a prehistoric secret. Ancient cavemen possessed flawless, genetically bulletproof hair, while modern humans are facing a global baldness epidemic. So why didn't our ancient ancestors ever lose their hair? The brutal answer is pure evolutionary selection. During the Ice Age, a bald head was a literal death sentence. Humans lose up to 50% of body heat through the head. Thick hair functioned as vital biological insulation. Losing that insulation meant instant fatal hypothermia. Therefore, the baldness gene was ruthlessly wiped out of the gene pool. Only individuals with permanent, robust hair follicles lived long enough to reproduce. But temperature control was only the baseline factor. Their daily diet was a literal superfood cocktail for hair growth, feasting entirely on wild, nutrient-dense meat, marrow, and collagen, with zero processed sugars or inflammatory chemicals to choke their blood flow. This clean diet maintained perfect microcirculation to the scalp. Constant physical activity kept their cardiovascular system fully optimized, unlike the sedentary lifestyles that restrict modern blood flow. Which brings us to the ultimate hair killer, cortisol. Ancient humans only experienced brief, evolutionary survival stress, not the chronic 24/7 mental anxiety of modern life. Constant stress forces hair follicles into a permanent resting phase. They also bathed their bodies in natural unfiltered sunlight, providing massive continuous doses of natural vitamin D. Modern humans spend 90% of their lives indoors. Then there is the issue of chemical overload. Cavemen washed their hair using only pure chemical-free water. We blast our scalps with harsh synthetic sulfates daily, stripping away the natural sebum shield that protects roots. But the deeper biological reason goes way past hygiene. It is connected to a powerful evolutionary mechanism called sexual selection. In prehistoric times, a thick head of hair was the ultimate green flag. It signaled peak physical health, high fertility, and superior genes. Individuals showing early signs of baldness struggled to find mates, effectively creating a dead end for the baldness gene branch. Now, let's look at the actual hormone responsible, DHT. Ancient humans possessed incredible hormonal balance due to high physical demand. Modern sedentary habits trigger massive insulin spikes. High insulin directly accelerates the conversion of testosterone into hair-choking DHT. Since cavemen had zero insulin resistance, their hair roots remained unattacked. There is also a fascinating structural theory called skull expansion. As modern human skull shapes evolved, the galea aponeurotica stretched tightly. Ancient skulls possessed heavy facial bone structures that distributed mechanical tension differently. This prevented the mechanical tension that cuts off blood supply to the top scalp. But what about the hats and headwear they actually wore? Modern humans wear tight hats that cause friction and restrict air. Ancient headwear was loose, purely functional, and highly breathable. We also shock our hair follicles with boiling hot showers, while they constantly exposed their scalps to cold water temperatures. Cold exposure naturally triggers vasoconstriction, followed by massive blood rushes. This acts like a natural workout for the hair roots. Now, let's talk about sleep cycles and melatonin release. Melatonin is a powerful antioxidant that directly stimulates hair growth. Cavemen slept in complete natural darkness the moment the sun set. Modern blue light completely destroys natural melatonin production. There is also the hidden connection of the gut microbiome. Their diverse diet of wild plants built an incredibly resilient gut. A damaged modern gut triggers systemic inflammation across the scalp. Living in high-trust tribes kept their baseline inflammation at absolute zero. But the final clue lies deep inside their genetic code. Genetic sequencing of ancient remains reveals a shocking truth. The specific gene variants linked to pattern baldness were practically non-existent. This means modern baldness is a very recent evolutionary mismatch. Our genes are simply not designed for the world we created. Consider the fact that they lived in zero environmental pollution, no heavy metals or airborne toxins to clog their pores. Modern micropollution triggers severe oxidative stress on the scalp, which prematurely forces hair cells into cellular aging. They also consumed minerals in their most bioavailable forms. Drinking untainted spring water, rich in natural hair-strengthening silica, while we drink filtered water stripped of essential trace minerals. Another critical factor was their perfect lymphatic drainage. Constant climbing and moving prevented fluid stagnation in the upper body. Modern sedentary posture causes fluid accumulation that calcifies scalp tissues. But the most shocking hair loss trigger is sitting right on your plate. Modern industrial seed oils are loaded with inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids. Cavemen only consumed clean anti-inflammatory fats from wild game. Chronic cellular inflammation directly targets and weakens hair follicles. By eliminating inflammation, ancient roots remained completely uncompromised. They also experienced continuous microstimulations throughout the day. Direct exposure to wind and raw nature acted like a constant scalp massage, while we trap our scalps in stagnant artificial environments for hours. This lack of physical stimulation causes the scalp skin to thin out over generations. Ancient humans maintained a thick, highly vascularized scalp layer. Then, there is the fascinating link to ancient heavy load carrying. carrying heavy animal carcasses, developed massive trapezius and neck muscles. Strong neck muscles act as a powerful pump, forcing blood upward. Modern desk posture collapses neck alignment, creating a physical bottleneck for blood. With flawless posture, their blood supply faced zero mechanical resistance, but a bizarre hidden variable was working quietly inside their gut. Prehistoric soil bacteria naturally produced massive amounts of biotin. Eating unwashed wild plants infused their systems with these natural hair vitamins. Modern hypersanitization has completely wiped out these beneficial organisms, leaving our guts unable to synthesize critical hair building blocks naturally. They also maintained flawless circadian growth hormone secretion. Deep, uninterrupted sleep cycles allowed cellular hair regeneration to maximize. Modern sleep fragmentation completely halts this nocturnal cellular repair. Now, consider the bizarre impact of heavy jaw chewing. Chewing tough, unprocessed food heavily developed their masseter and temporalis muscles. The continuous flexing of the temporalis muscle naturally pumped blood to the upper scalp. Our modern diet of ultra-soft food has completely atrophied these skull muscles, leading to a tighter, less vascularized scalp structure over time. Furthermore, their hair roots were constantly adjusted to environmental humidity. Artificial indoor heating and AC dry out the scalp epidermis modernly. So can we reverse this mismatch and unlock prehistoric hair growth? The first actionable step is triggering the natural blood pump mechanism. By using basic inversion or hanging to force immediate blood flow upward, reversing gravity to manually mimic the high activity rush of our ancestors. Step 2 is reintroducing raw dietary collagen matrices, consuming clean bone broths rich in the exact amino acids that form hair keratin. While completely starving the modern insulin-driven DHT conversion process, Step 3 involves rebuilding the atrophied temporalis muscle tension, incorporating tough, fibrous foods into your daily chewing routine, actively expanding the microvessel network right beneath the scalp skin, coupled with regular manual scalp detethering to break up tissue calcification. Step 4 is mimicking the prehistoric blackout sleep environment, eliminating modern artificial blue light at least 2 hours before sleep, to completely unleash the peak nightly surge of growth hormones. And finally, terminating hair washing with pure cold water rinses, forcing the vascular system to continuously feed the root matrix. But what about the myth of testosterone itself causing baldness? Cavemen had significantly higher baseline testosterone levels than modern males. Yet, modern men are losing hair, while testosterone levels are historic lows. The true culprit is hormonal dysregulation and tissue sensitivity. Their high testosterone was cleanly utilized by high-intensity survival outputs. Unused hormones modernly bind to localized receptors due to stagnation, effectively starving the hair matrix while hormone floating unbound. They also naturally consumed plant-based compounds that regulated conversion, acting as natural, zero-side effect inhibitors of localized scalp calcification. Let's explore the hidden role of heavy mineral sweating. Daily heavy sweating was an evolutionary requirement for tracking prey. Sweat naturally flushes out deep-seated heavy metals and sebum plugs. Modern temperature-controlled lives mean we rarely flush our pores deeply, leading to localized salt and calcium crystallization at the root level. Their roots were kept permanently clear through high-volume fluid turnover. This brings us directly to the concept of systemic metabolic flexibility. Ancient humans regularly entered prolonged periods of natural fasting, while modern humans graze on carbohydrates every few hours continuously. Fasting triggers a powerful cellular cleanup mechanism called autophagy. Autophagy systematically clears out damaged proteins inside hair cells. Without fasting, modern cells accumulate metabolic waste indefinitely, choking the mitochondrial energy production of the hair. They also interacted with a vastly different electromagnetic environment. Walking completely barefoot allowed direct electrical grounding with the earth. Modern rubber-soled shoes isolate us from this natural electron flow, while continuous exposure to artificial frequencies disrupts microcellular voltage. With zero technical interference, their bioelectric systems remained unwarped, ensuring that the delicate blood flow to the head never clumped. Their entire biology was perfectly synchronized with planetary cycles, meaning their hair health was simply a byproduct of an uncompromised life. Let's dive straight into another critical factor: deuterium levels. Ancient humans primarily consumed natural low deuterium depletion water. Modern processed foods are completely saturated with heavy hydrogen deuterium. Excess deuterium physically damages the nanomotors inside hair cell mitochondria. By maintaining low levels, their cellular hair engines produced maximum energy. Now look closely at the mechanical impact of text neck. Bending over screens pulls the occipital fascia incredibly tight. Cavemen constantly scanned the high horizons for predators and food. This movement kept the critical cranial fascia loose and highly oxygenated. They also slept without thick, soft, modern synthetic pillows. Soft pillows hyperflex the neck all night, cutting off scalp circulation. Sleeping flat on firm surfaces kept their cervical spine naturally aligned, allowing blood to pump completely unhindered to the vertex during rest. Another vital element was deep, primal nasal breathing. Constant nasal breathing maximizes nitric oxide production systematically. Nitric oxide is a powerful vasodilator that opens up tiny capillaries. Cavemen relied exclusively on deep nasal breathing during intense physical survival. Modern chronic mouth breathing lowers blood oxygen delivery drastically, constricting peripheral blood vessels and starving high-altitude scalp tissue. Their superior respiratory efficiency guaranteed maximum oxygen saturation at the roots. Now consider the unique mechanism of extreme seasonal shedding. Ancient human hair went through synchronized seasonal renewal cycles, shedding weaker strands systematically to make room for robust winter shielding. Our modern climate-controlled indoor living has completely broken this natural rhythm, trapping hair follicles in a state of confusion, leading to permanent miniaturization. They also naturally cleansed their scalps with natural mechanical abrasives. Fine river sand and natural clays acted as physical exfoliators during bathing. Unlike modern chemical shampoos that leave a synthetic residue layer behind, this allowed their natural skin microbiome to build a robust defense, preventing fungal overgrowths that cause modern scalp dermatitis and loss. The final blueprint to reclaiming your evolutionary birthright is clear. Your hair cells are not genetically broken or programmed to fail. They are simply suffocating under the pressure of an artificial modern world. By strategically reintroducing primal biological triggers into your daily schedule, you manually reoptimize microcirculation, scalp thickness, and nutrient saturation, reversing years of systemic capillary stagnation and tissue calcification entirely, protecting your hair follicles from localized hormonal overload, safely allowing the roots to lock back into an uninterrupted growth phase. True hair health was never about finding a magic chemical solution or relying on synthetic commercial products that mask deeper systemic problems. It is about realigning your lifestyle with ancestral evolutionary parameters, reclaiming the robust environmental baselines that kept our ancestors thriving. The biological cheat code is already written inside your DNA matrix. You simply need to change the environment to activate it. Stop fighting your biology and let your ancient code take over. If you want to decode more hidden human biology, hit subscribe right now and drop a comment below on which primal habit you are starting today.